10:14 to go in the period. Certainly, we've had a couple of potential Longini Whitnauer plays of the game so far, Mr. Bassett.
I think that Waver's got is a leading candidate for him. Interesting Marley line they got on here now. Nelson at center, Govadaris at right wing, and Sameta at left. 2 first-round NHL picks and their captain. Think they want to get a goal?
You get that impression, don't you? Here's Waver. He'll clear it. Gets it up on the left side. Back the other way come the Raiders. Down over the line. Raiden was beaten. Here's another chance. They go and take a shot. Schill made a big save, or it could have been 4-0.
Oh, that is a very, very big save.
Here comes Nelson. Back the other way to Sameta. Sameta winds up. Long shot. And that whistling drive went wide. That was Barry Young who fired it. Puck still bouncing around into the corner. They do some pushing. Look out. Sameta drops the gloves. Here we go. Sameta getting into it in the corner. And that's Tony Yob that he's getting into it with. I think maybe an extension of the frustration on the part of the Marlboros.
Well, the funny thing about it is they're both into it, and when you're down 3-0, you don't want Sameta in the penalty box. Not a 50-goal scorer who's had a few games with Boston, has been at the World Junior. You can be sure that that's some excitement.
Well, you know, there'll be a lot of coaches in that situation say nothing against Tony.
Oh, no.
But in a game like this, they'll say, oh, we'll take the trade-off.
That's exactly right. I mean, let's be realistic here with...
I mean, it's 50 goals. It's going to miss 5 minutes.
You know, he didn't put that line together. Terry Martin didn't send those 3 guys out there
to start a fight.
To check and fight. But as you pointed out, Tony just had an excellent chance.
Oh.
Just an excellent chance there when he came down. He beat George Raiden on the right side there, coming down the left wing on the Raiden's right, and then...
turned him inside out.
Oh,
but a great stop by David Schill.
Or it's 4-0.
4-0.
That stop, as a matter of fact, by the goalie could be the Longine Whitnauer play.
Here's a chance offside at the Toronto line. Marley's bringing it in. Joey Simon. 9:28 to go in the period. Of course, we talk about the game in Belleville tonight. Ottawa will be in Peterborough. As you see, Mav, you have to wonder what's happened to that Ottawa club.
I tell you, I was talking to Mav about it, and he said after the game, and who would be, Killer was not, you know, he wasn't the jovial guy. Usually Killer can swing some punches pretty good. He's been around a long time. But I know the Killer just about as well as anybody. And don't worry, they're not out, I'll tell you that. He's upset about it, and he's going to try and find a way. But they've had a couple of very important losses on the road. Then they're in Peterborough tonight, and Peterborough's playing some of the best hockey I've seen them play.
What was it the other night, 8-2?
Yeah, I don't remember who was in. They won 8-2 against somebody.
Yeah. Back the other way come the Marlies over the line. They're down 3-0 in the first period with 9 minutes to go in the period. Back the other way comes McKillop. McKillop down over the line. That's Brock Woods trying to go through the defense. And Woods spun around. The puck goes into the corner. Armstrong has his man tied up. And Jim Lever will finally blow the play dead. Have you noticed how many times the Kingston defensemen are filling the holes offensively? Here's our quiz. Except for Chris Govadaris and Rob Sameta, name the 4 other Marlboros to be drafted in the first round since 1980.
1980.
We'll let you think about that for a while.
Give me a second here. 4 of them drafted since 1980.
And we'd like to also thank Roger Lajoie for coming up with these quizzes. We'll have a couple of more throughout the day, and we'll have an answer to that
1980.
one. You think about it now. I can hear the wood burning from here.
Wouldn't be George Armstrong.
80 pass, not. Puck comes back the other way. The Marlies bring it in. There's a centering pass. Wilson will make the save. Wilson hasn't had a whole lot of work.
Not really, no, not really. He had one drilled beside him there by Sameta, but outside the blue line, and really hasn't had a lot. So I 4 since 1980.
That's right.
How much time do I have there?
Well, how much time do you need?
A week?
I mean, remember, we're off the air at 5 o'clock.
Okay, just tell me when you want the answer, and
you'll what?
I'll give you the answer.
Okay.
But I mean, just give me a second.
Here's a chance from the point. That shot went wide, and Wilson comes back to circle the other way. Behind the net, Barahowski had his man tied up. The Raiders up on the left side will get rid of it. Sommerello gets it down the ice, and Circa being chased by Jamie Allen. Puck is back the other way for Sukin. Sukin in the corner, turns for the Marlboros and waits for Brian Collinson. Collinson up on the left side. Kovacs will come back for the Marlies. Gets it ahead for Gavaderis. Over on the other side it goes for Sukin. Sukin trying to get it in front. There's a shot by Circa. They score. It was tipped in front. And the Marlies are on the board in what looked like a pretty harmless play at the beginning. We'll wait and see who gets credit for it.
Put the puck near the net. Circa drills it. Take a look at how much time he's got now. Take a look. Look at him sitting out there. He doesn't know he has that much time. He has enough time to, and it's a deflection off the skate. As we see as it goes in the net. Much too much time for a guy to,
So it was Kovacs who gets credit for the goal. Circa let the shot go for Kovacs' 11th goal of the year. But I'll tell you,
the front of the net.
It comes at a big time for the Marlies.
It sure does.
Bad time if you're Kingston.
Sure does.
So it's 3-1 in favor of the Kingston Raiders. 7:47 the time remaining in the period. Back to touch it was Cavanaugh. I think he anticipated icing, but there was none. And back the other way comes Joey Simon. Simon in over the line, puts on the brakes, goes to his backhand, rolls it right through the crease. Unable to get a stick on it was Bodnerchuk.
Gavaderis is now taking the left spot for Semeta plays. Playing with Nelson.
Here's a chance the other way. There's a shot. They score! Mike Bodnerchuk has a terrible, terrible giveaway for the Marlies in their own zone.
22nd goal for Bodnerchuk, and he's come alive. And when you come around, you're in front of the net, move the puck.
What a terrible, terrible
take a look at he's trying to keep the puck to beat people. He's got people open. Now there it is. Now as a matter of fact, he sees he's going to try and slip it through.
And everybody's going the other way.
Yes, sir. And now look at them all alone. Talk about leaving the right through the 5-hole. Before you say hello, it's back to 4-1.
So Bodnerchuk with his 22nd goal of the year. There's McKillop coming in over the line for the Raiders. So the Marlies get a big emotional lift on a deflection by Kovacs, get right back in the hockey game, and the Raiders come right back and score again. Here's another chance. Davidson goes in. Wilson makes the save. Rebound cleared by Cavanaugh.
I tell you something. We've seen enough.
This game could end up 11-8.
Oh.
Puck bouncing around into the corner. Comes back on the left point for Rob Leask. Takes a long bouncing shot picked off by Mike Cavanaugh, the Raiders. Cavanaugh is hauled down from behind, and there'll be a face-off.
Well, some people would think that might be a penalty call, but
here's your answer, Bass.
He, as a matter of fact, went after.
Hey, okay, here's the question
again.
Well, there you go. Except for Chris Gavaderis and Rob Semeta, name the 4 other Marlies to be drafted in the first round since 1980. Now, don't look at the screen.
No, I'm not looking at the screen. Well, I know one of them because we could have drafted him in the first round. It's horrible. You can't. Oh, yeah, Contos, Malone, and DuPont.
Not bad. You had 1 out of 4, and that was the last minute.
You didn't have a chance to even think. What are they doing coming up with the answer of it? I mean, isn't it the first 9 callers?
No, it was a foregone conclusion. You'd never know, I guess. But a good point, and some good players there. Of course, Corvo now in Washington.
Contos.
There's a pass in front. The puck bounces to Schill. That took a couple of crazy hops. It's still loose.
You talk about a dangerous there. That puck bounced off somebody, and the goaltender was right there.
But how big is that goal by Bodnerchuk?
Wow. It's not only, I'm going to tell you something about, we talk about as we look at Schill here, but with the emotions of the game, it's the way they got that goal. When you're fighting to come back, and you make it 3-1, and you have a serious giveaway in front of your net like that, it can't help but affect you a little bit emotionally.
But don't you think, too, on the other side of it, the Marlies down 3-1, they start trying to make that extra play, trying to make the 2Q play. Back the other way. Here's a shot by Kovacs, kicked out. The rebound cleared by Barahowski, made a good defensive play to cover up. Back the other way. On the right side, cleared in by Jason Snow. Collinson hustling back to pick it up, chips it around on the left wing boards for Kovacs. He takes a hit.
Is this a shooting drill? I mean, are we having shooting drills here?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
One on the goaltenders, like.
Here's Circa. Lost it in front. Here's another chance. Oh, and a big save by Schill on a shot by Jason Snow. Grattan gets it in front. Here's another chance. Back the other way come the Marlies. Kovacs will come back for the Marlies and clip it in off Wilson. Sukin goes after it, clears it at the side of the net. The Marlies get it back. Here's a chance for the Raiders. They have a 2-on-1 break. Coming back, it's Doucette or Mark Major. Major goes in, backhand shot. He was hauled down, goes sliding into the boards. And back the other way comes Gratton. Major digs it out of the corner, slaps it off the boards, and the Marlies with Jackson on it. Jackson checked off the puck. It's still bouncing loose. And the Raiders inside their own line will move it to center. Cleared by Shayak back into the Toronto zone as we approach the 15-minute mark of this opening period. They'll tie it up back of the Kingston net. They're jamming away after it. Finally, it's blown dead. 5:02 to go in the period. It's 4-1 Kingston, and our OHL game of the week returns after this message.
Coming up during our first intermission, we're going to have a chat with one of the most respected officials in the OHL, Jimmy Lever, who unfortunately hangs them up after this year, as well George Armstrong, the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the last coach of the Toronto Marlies when they won the Memorial Cup back in the 70s, as well as highlights with Sherry and Dave. Now back upstairs.
Thanks, Jack. We have 5 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the opening period. A 4-1 lead.
That Schill has made 3 point-blank saves and 3 guys in all alone.
Or it could be a lot higher than it is.
Oh, might need a calculator.
The Marlies will clear it up on the left side. They center it in front. The Raiders do. Tipped off on the other wing and cleared, but knocked down at the point by Shayak. Did a good job of keeping it in. It's still bouncing around. Finally, bounced off one of the linesmen. Back at center it goes. And the Raiders bring it down and over the line again. We're going to have a penalty called against the Marlies as Jim Lever has the arm up. And as Jack Miller mentioned, Jimmy will be a guest in our next intermission. I was kidding Jimmy before the game. I said it's rather fitting, I think, that you're going to retire after this game. He might do some playoff games, but retire in a game that is the last one that the Marlies will play. 63 years of history. And, of course, I sarcastically suggested that maybe
he's here for the opener.
That's right.
There, we're going to get a look here at this penalty where he's, where he's absolutely dragged down, and Jimmy's got to call that.
Clayton Martin.
And he'll serve 2. You can be sure of that, for his hooking penalty. And now we're going to see the power play with 4:34. Oh, wait a sec. This is a family day because his daughter Kelly
does the statistics for us and has done a great job all year.
You met her? You know her, do you?
Yes, right.
She is retiring today. Graduate of University of Toronto, going to graduate from Durham College's sports administration program and go on to get a job refereeing.
Not if her mother has anything to say about it. The puck bouncing around. Here's a chance for the Raiders. They'll get it back. Weaver winds up, takes a shot that was blocked. Berehowski can't get to it, stays with it, knocks it down. And the Marlies don't get it out. Bodnerchuk threw it across on the other side. And Armstrong for Toronto gets rid of it down the ice. 1 minute and 35 seconds left in the penalty to Martin of the Marlies. 4:07 to go in this first period. And the Raiders with a 4-1 lead. Berehowski back to pick it up in his own zone. Pass up on the wing. Comes back the other way with it for Simon. Simon comes down over the line, puts on the brakes. Berehowski moves in, comes out of a corner with it. Drops it back to Weaver. Weaver to Wayne Doucette. Doucette takes a shot. Schill got a piece of it off the glass and down the ice it goes. 1:05 left in the penalty to Martin is Berehowski. Back to pick it up on the right side off McKillop's stick, and a Marley shoot it down the ice. Jeff Circa getting rid of it. Less than a minute to go in the penalty.
Well, needless to say, you'd think this early in the game shouldn't be a big power play, but it sure could be.
Puck comes back in the point. Berehowski throws it over to Weaver. Weaver takes a shot that was blocked in front. Doucette slaps it off the boards. Back into the corner it goes. The Raiders try to center it. McKillop can't get to it. Intercepted by the Marlies, and they'll flip it down the ice with 30 seconds left in the penalty and 3 minutes to go in the opening period. A 4-1 Kingston lead as Weaver turns behind his own net, picked up by Nelson. And the Marlies, an effective job of penalty killing. Up on the wing, the Raiders will try it again. That doesn't work. Back at the Toronto line, Marlies down the ice with it. And the penalty to Martin just about over.
Very effective job of killing it off.
Weaver in the corner having trouble. Picked up, comes back on the left point for Leask. He takes a weak shot, deflected, a rebound, hit the post. I think Nelson's shot hit the post. Or bounced off the goaltender Wilson. The Raiders get rid of it. That came just as the penalty had expired. Here's a chance. Over the line comes John Davidson. Davidson spun around, clips it behind the net. The Marlies trying to get something going. Turcotte couldn't get anywhere, and back it goes at center for Rob Leask with 2 minutes to go in this opening period. Long bouncing shot picked off by Brock Shayak. Shayak just rolls it back out to center. Tipped too far for Govidaris. Comes back on the right side for Jamie Allen. On the right wing for Jackson. Tipped away, and Jackson will try it again. Clears it in. That's Davidson going after it behind the net. Shayak clears it out. Comes bouncing back to the point. Kept in by the Marlies. Turcotte throws it in front. Intercepted by Allen, and he just bounces it off the boards at center. Collinson ties up his man. There's some pushing going on there. And we have 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. Brad Gratton takes a look. Feeds it over on the other side. Tried to send his man away. That was Jason Snow. Didn't work. And the Marlies bounce it up at center. Barahowski gets it over on the other side. Waver clears it back into the Toronto zone. Barahowski drives it back in on the delayed offside. And Circa for the Marlies with 1 minute to go in the first period. Here's Turcotte coming down over the line, ridden out of the play, picked off by Brad Gratton. Gratton takes a look, turns at his own line at center. A long shot goes wide of the net, picked off by the goaltender Schill. Will leave it for his defenseman with 40 seconds to go in the period. Long pass is tipped over now from Nelson to Semeta. Semeta ridden out of the play, and it's cleared back into the Marley zone. Raiders will shoot it right back in with 30 seconds to go in the period. Circa is there. And back the other way comes Semeta for the Marlies. Semeta down over the line, drops it back to Nelson. We got a penalty called against Kingston for interference behind the play. A major, I believe, as he knocked off the Marley player behind the play. Interference is the call from Mr. Lever.
Mr. Lever right on top. You know, those are the kind of penalties you don't want to take when you're in a tough game, and especially with 19 seconds to go. You can be sure that Mav won't be happy with that call.
And of course, Jim will be in talking to Jack Miller in our first intermission, and also George Armstrong.
Oh.
So do you think there's some vintage history there?
You talk about some history of hockey and history that's building.
Each one of them have their own library
in
terms of the chapters and contributions they have made.
Jack will do a good job of that, too.
There's a chance in front, rolls wide of the Kingston net. 12 seconds to go in the period. Marlies working on the power play. Collinson hustles after it to keep it in at the point. Threw it back into the corner. They try to center it in front, and it goes all the way back to center, and that'll do it. First period is over, 4-1 in favor of the Kingston Raiders. We suggested that the Raiders would come out hungry, and that's exactly what they've done.
They certainly did come out hungry, and give Schill some credit, or the damage could be a lot higher for the Kingston Raiders.
14-6 were the shots in favor of the Raiders in that first period, and they have a 4-1 lead after 20 minutes. Our OHL game of the week returns with our first intermission.